y'all thought you could get rid of me that easily? I'm back with a vengeance, baby. Let's go. Welcome into the Midstate 48 presented by Miracle Auto Group. Chris Brooks back with you with basically a full voice and a full complement of guys to talk about some football this week. Guys, that gumming, I'm happy to be back. Welcome in, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good. Glad to see that you're back amongst the vocal.
Yeah, he's alive.
I can smell colors and eat letters. So it's
Well, you might have something else going on then. We'll talk about that later.
I was going to say that sounds like an LSD trip.
Like alphabets, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. We've hit fall break. It's in a weird 2-week period where everybody's and their brother's taken off, and we have a light schedule the next 2 weeks. This is arguably these 2 weeks right here are arguably the worst of the year schedule wise.
Yeah, I don't think there's arguing it.
Yeah, there's still quality games out there, but there's nowhere near the number of good ones.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it over the course of the next few weeks. Week 11, I think, TSSAA did wound up it going in their favor. It looks really good from a viewer's standpoint. But these weeks leading up to it, along with the fall breaks added in, it's just a lot of light matchups. You'll notice when we pick our 10 games, we got some teams in there that, you're not used to seeing in our top 10 games. That actually allows us the ability to do that. So it's kind of works out in the favor of those schools to get the recognition during weeks like this. But it's also just bad timing because you have all the big counties for the most part, Rutherford, Wilson, and Sumner, all three on fall break this week. So and kudos to their coaches for not having games scheduled on the week of fall break because no player likes that.
My biggest question is this: do we all need to have the same week for fall break? I mean, really?
No.
Because here's the thing: if we were to stretch it out back week 7, and have 7, 8, and 9, kind of as everybody's fall break, and spread that over 3 weeks as opposed to 2, that would do wonders for the schedule in all 3 weeks. It would keep a decent amount of competitive games on the schedule.
Yeah.
It would, but we're biased because for us our world revolves around football. As for everybody else who are wrong and don't care, they all probably would prefer to go on the same week.
Probably. Now also too, if you take it week 7, you're actually closer to the midpoint of the semester because with all these schools starting in July now, which is absurd. It's kind of right in the middle where it should be. So that's just kind of my point of view of it. I mean, I didn't have a fall break when I was in high school, so it's foreign to me every time we talk about it. But,
my freshman year was the first time my school district ever did. We did a 2-week fall break. We did a 2-week fall break, a 2-week winter break, and a 2-week spring break. But it was basically year-round school because we ended school in late May, early June, and we went back at the end of July. So it was
pretty much a 9 weeks on, 2 weeks off then.
Basically, yeah.
That's where they got you.
Yeah.
Back in my day when we had school marms and
well, I hit on the players not liking games during fall break. We did have fall breaks when I was in high school, but we did play just about every time we were on fall break. So.
Should we start like an old man rant segment of the show?
I was going to say, honestly, back in my day when we did, we had school marms and by gosh, we walked to school in the snow uphill both ways. We didn't have algebra. They didn't put letters in the math. No, we didn't have fall break either. And when I was in high school, and it was. But what we had was, I think we had a longer break for Thanksgiving and a little bit longer, a couple of days longer for after the new year. So
I will say, I think it's a good thing for these kids too, because they deserve a break. I mean,
100%.
it's
so does the teacher.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh, yeah.
and the coaches. I mean, last week, following you were there, Scott. Following Oakland's win, Coach Creasy's talking to his guys. He's like, "We'll see you when you come back.
Yeah,
go, go enjoy your break." So yeah, I mean, the kids
right.
break. I just kind of wish it was spaced out a little more. I agree with you, Chris. If it's
That's
just
fine.
yeah, it's rough. Next week in particular is rough. We'll get to that next week, but man,
Yeah, the scoreboard show is going to be significantly shorter these next 2 Saturdays, but that's 9 o'clock Saturday morning on the same platforms you're watching tonight. Anywho, um, still a good schedule this week, and when we get to the 10, we're going to pick tonight. Like Cam said, there's going to be some unusual teams that aren't normally on the list, but that's a great thing for them, and could be some fun games kind of out of the ordinary. So picking the 10, it's more like you kind of have to think outside the box of what constitutes a quote unquote top game instead of some of these big names. Look, I mean, yeah, NBA might be playing for a playoff positioning, but is it really a top game this week? No, not in my opinion. But
Well, there are other games that are just as meaningful that maybe don't get the coverage that the other bigger schools sometimes get, and in a lot of those cases, those games have bigger implications than a division where everybody goes to the playoffs.
right,
Yeah.
great. That's a great point because I was about to say, playing for 4th place in Division 2 is not the same as playing for 4th place in Division 1, where one's guaranteed to go regardless, and then the other one is fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah.
So, it's a big difference there. All right. Let's talk about last week real quick. Unfortunately, with my voice being as it was, I was have forced to sit out 2 nights, and let me tell you, it was unbearable. But guys, I want to hear from you. Last week, what was give me a final impression from each of y'all real quick before we go on.
Oakland's still Oakland. They 14-7 at the half, lead over Siegel. We've talked about it. It would be really interesting to see how that game plays out if Thomas Santel doesn't get hurt on Siegel's second drive. He throws the pick 6 in the very beginning, gets a couple plays later, and then he suffers a upper body injury. I think it was a collarbone. Our best wishes are with him. It's unfortunate to see a great player like that get hurt. But Oakland really just steamrolled in the second half behind DeJuan Morris, who is a stud. He's going to be a stud. He's only a junior. So Oakland's still Oakland. They're still right there at the top of 6A. And then where were we Friday, Scott? I forgot.
FRA.
FRA, most beautiful view in all of Middle Tennessee football. I mean, it's gorgeous. It was beautiful Friday night. FRA. The second half, kind of like Oakland, they took over. Ty Clark, Bobby Council, that duo it's tough to stop, and really, really setting up a huge matchup here in a couple of weeks with CPA.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Joe said about FRA. That was taken aback by that location. It feels like you're on a mountaintop. Some of the best views pregame, and when the sun goes down, that sunset if the weather's right, it's magnificent. And so was the offense for FRA, especially in the second half. I think they came out and made the proper adjustments. I think that Ty Clark is absolutely the real deal. They're going to be a tough out. Like Joe, wish nothing but the best for Thomas Santel. He was in obvious pain on Thursday night, but Oakland, at the end, when it was 14-7 at the end of the first half, I was getting concerned because I was like, this is not the Oakland. Check my phone. There's Cam. He's going to right the ship. It's the second half team. Coach Creasy's a wizard. And Cam was right. Yeah.
Don't admit that.
Shoot, I did it and it's on tape. But no, Oakland, their defense is for real. Their offense is, their running game But you know what? I am so looking forward to that Battle of the Borough because I think that game, and I know I'm talking out in the future, but contrasting styles offensively, but it looks like that could be a very good game.
Yeah, that could be a really fun game. Last week for me, two teams kind of heading in opposite directions. I think we'll start with the 2A team in East Robertson, a team that is all extremely talented. Four guys that's probably going to go play Division I football, and they've struggled this year with some discipline issues, some penalty issues, some turnovers. And the same story again last week against the Westmoreland team. It is tough to go on the road to Westmoreland and win a game. But having a score with 39 seconds left was not expected of the Indians. But they did come out of there with a 13-12 win, but still just struggling to get it all together for them right now at the moment. And then the other team started 0-4 and have won their last three. And I'm talking about the Smyrna Bulldogs. And in a game where really nobody really gave them a chance against East Nashville. And they come out and score with a little over 2 minutes left, get a 2-point conversion, and win that one 17-14. Thomas Jones, he's been mentioned on the show this year, but not a lot. One of the better athletes in our area, and it has taken some time for Smyrna to find some answers, but they are a great defensive football team. They're going to win if they can keep the game in a lower scoring game in the 17-14, 21-14 range. They're going to be a dangerous team come playoff time. And they got a couple of huge region matchups coming up with Stewart's Creek and Antioch over the last 3 weeks here of the season.
Yeah, I don't remember much from last week. I just don't. Just fair play. Fair play. That's all I can say.
That doesn't get you out of issuing an apology.
It does not. It does not. And I did have that prepared at least. So
there you go.
It wasn't entirely useless.
Yeah, I was auditioning people in case you couldn't talk. At one point, I think I was trying to get Barry White and Morgan Freeman.
No, you called me Barry White. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's because you said you sounded like you said you were low and slow.
That's all I said. I didn't say I was a certain R&B singer.
You were vocal barbecue, dude.
No. Of course, now we do know a certain kicker that shares a name with an R&B legend, Isaac Hayes.
Yep.
So
there you go.
Spoiler alert, I'm gonna mention him again in this show, so just keep an eye out. All right, let's hand out some hardware from last week, shall we? Let's get to the Miracle Auto Group Players of the Week for week number 7 and group of 5 here. James Dalrymple from Clarksville, 5 touchdowns on 8 carries, had 101 yards, but he scored 5 times on 8 carries in that 55-0 win over Clarksville Northwest. Atticus Fiorita, and if I mispronounce that name, my apologies, from Mount Juliet, 11 tackles, 6 sacks, and an interception. In the Golden Bears win at Antioch, they won 31-14. Stratford's Justice Law, who's going to lead the league in appearances on this list, 10 of 26 passing, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries, 61 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner in the final minute of their 47-40 win over Hunter's Lane. Brock Montgomery from Riverdale caught 5 passes for 141 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half, I believe, of that one. They won 49-7 over Cane Ridge. And then Liberty Creek's Brian Rager, 13-14 passing, 208 yards, 5 touchdowns, 11 carries, 111 yards, and a score as they beat Kirkwood 47-23. Fan voting wrapped up a little earlier today, and Rager got that vote by a whopping 57.8% margin. Scott goes for Justice Law. Let's hear it.
Well, I just thought that the stat line was good enough, but the thing that kicked it over was that game-winning score late in the game when they had to have it. And great players make great plays at the right time, and that was what kind of kicked it over for me.
Joe's going with Brian Rager.
Yeah, Rager's been one of the more underrated quarterbacks in our area this year. Had a huge game last week against Kirkwood. This Liberty Creek offense is humming right now, and they did it again last week. And his video games look like he's playing on rookie mode right now. So,
Cam agrees with you.
Ditto. Brian
shout
Rager,
out Cam.
Yeah, is a guy that similar to Justice Law. He's put up good numbers all year. He's just not he's not found his way on the list as much as Justice has. But what a job! What a chance he took being at Beach and going to a new school like Liberty Creek, choosing to go there and playing with a lot of underclassmen. I mean, he is the leader of the team for sure, and he shows it and has the Wolves in a good spot to not only make the playoffs, but I think they're in a pretty good spot to host a playoff game.
Yeah. I could have went either way, but I picked Justice Law. Justice, I'm trying to get you one, dude. I am. He's been on this list enough. He deserves to win one of these, but it's not going to be his week, unfortunately. It is going to be Liberty Creek's Brian Rager who wins the Miracle Auto Group Player of the Week award. Congratulations to Brian, and one of Scott or Cam will have to slide up there and get some hardware over to you pretty soon. On to the Line of the Week award, and this has a little bit of a similar flavor to it as Liberty Creek's offense is joined by the defenses from Ensworth, Ezel, Hardy, and Green Hill. Ensworth's defense, 8 sacks, held Christian Heritage out of Georgia to 152 total yards. They won 42-2. Ezel Hardy's defense held the Kings Academy to 120 yards total offense, had a sack, had 4 tackles for a loss. They won 11-7. And Green Hill's defense held Warren County to 77 total yards with 2 sacks and 10 tackles for a loss in that 35-0 shutout win. Liberty Creek's offense, 468 total yards, 260 on the ground, 208 in the air in that win over Kirkwood. This one, as always, is voted by the fans strictly, and Liberty Creek's offense is going to make it a clean sweep. 63.12% of the vote this week for the Wolves. So congratulations to those guys. They're getting all the hardware for week number 7.
Save us a little gas.
All right. And while we have a minute, let's hear from those fine folks at Miracle Auto.
Hi, everyone. It's Jim Galvin, Miracle Ford, your Ford dealer in Gallatin, Tennessee since 1980. Great news. Beginning now. When you need service, we can come to you.
Our mobile service van comes to you wherever you are. Whether you need oil change, lube, routine maintenance, warranty, filters, wiper blades, batteries, bulbs, recalls, and more.
Visit our website
or call us now.
Are you ready for a miracle?
Yep. And as always, thanks to Miracle Auto Group for supporting this show and those awards for the entire season here in Middle Tennessee on the Midstate 48. So
Absolutely.
I see the dread on everybody's faces. I know y'all don't like to do this, but you know, we're contractually obligated to do so, I believe. So
to be fair, it was harder for us to do it this week because we were just good with our picks last week.
It was harder to do this. It's maybe why I think there's more dread.
One of these days I'm gonna have a perfect week, and you know, who am I kidding? I'll be apologizing forever.
Yeah, I don't know how we handle that. That's kind of, you may have to just, you know, be like a heel, cut a heel promo.
Yeah, go straight Conor McGregor on everybody.
Maybe. Yeah. All right, let's do it. And as the one who had the worst record out of all of us this past week, I will take the honors of going first.
Rightfully so.
I know you are happy about that. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that. Yeah, I appreciate that, bud. Okay. Well, Liberty Creek, it's been quite a week for you guys. You get the Player of the Week, Line of the Week, apology from me. Wow. All roll, and then at this week, to be fair, you deserve it. I went over Kirkwood. Listen, I got a little jaded. It burned me earlier this year. I don't know why. I just couldn't. Not one to I wanted to trust pretty easily after I've been burned, and kind of why I went to theater school and kind of got caught up in all the hype of parts that really flamed out. You guys are playing better ball right now. It's just the bottom line. And perhaps it was in my brain fog of last week that I lost my way, and took it upon myself to go rogue with my pick. And I paid the price for it. But you shouldn't have to. But for that, my boneheadedness, my airheadedness, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry.
That was very heartfelt. This is what happens when you collude with Reggie and try to pick the same games as him.
Yep.
Damn cat. Yeah, we'll talk about him later too. Who wants to go next? The three y'all, I believe the three y'all. Let's see, who was?
Oh,
next?
we all went 9-1 last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go next.
7. We all went 49-7.
Yeah. Let's see, Scott. Yep, you're going to be up next.
Ace, buddy, pal of mine. You and your fellow Bulldogs out there, you proved me wrong, and I have no excuse. I thought you were still in puppy mode, but your bark and your bite were all the same. You guys played like a bunch of dogs, and I feel like a bad dog now. I'm so sorry that I doubted you. So I'm gonna go and hit myself with a rolled up newspaper.
I kind of want to see that.
I would pay to see that, actually. I'll go next. Pope. I don't know what I was thinking last week, to be honest with you. It may have been the brain fog I have following Notre Dame's loss to Ohio State that just sent me into a spiral for most of the week. Elijah Robb, he's got to be a Mr. Football candidate at some point, guys. He's just balling right now. He had a huge game Friday night. They pick up a huge overtime win, and I didn't even have a second thought about picking against him last week. I don't know why. It was my fault. I'm a fool. And I just want you to know, Night Nation, I'm sorry.
That one touched me here and here.
I could say something, but I won't. We should have a show after dark, honestly, because we would go through.
Yeah, let us know if that's. Let us know in the comments.
Y'all want us to do.
If that's something.
Yeah, if you want to do if y'all want the Patreon action, the 30 minutes before the show and 30 minutes after, uncut, maybe not entirely PG rated, but
I was gonna say,
it's pretty good.
May not be safe for work, but
PG, we don't touch PG here. Come on now, we start at PG-13.
I'm an angel. I don't say anything ever.
Shut up. No, you don't.
no.
No. All right, Cam. This is all in your court.
Yeah, I will. I'll be the first to admit, as many games as we pick, I do a lot of number chasing, and it tends to bite me in the butt. And boy, did it this week. Greenbrier. Looking at the schedules for you and White House Heritage, thought that the Patriots had performed better up to this point of the year. But after you win, I look back at the numbers and I look at myself and I say, they're not a bad football team. They've been in several close games. So for that, and not looking more into the numbers and not recognizing the athlete that you guys have in Quantavious Flood, I apologize.
Throw that comment over there onto the screen, Chris.
Yes, we should.
And I said self.
That's what got me. I love that part of it. That's the best part.
I said self.
Hey, real
Yeah.
quick. Maybe
Hey,
the second response to my Kleenex tissues. Maybe can make that
Yeah,
happen.
can anybody make that happen? I mean, it doesn't have.
Ask
It can
his
be an
friend.
off-brand. Scott
right, yeah.
tissues. I mean,
Yeah.
Puffs Plus.
We're not
Dab.
above it.
Dab our fake tears while we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, real tears, not fake, not at all.
It's definitely real for Scott.
He said the quiet part out loud.
I don't know what you're talking about. I had to slip up. It's fine.
Sure, that's what we want to call it. Yeah, it's we can claim brain fog for about maybe another 24 hours.
There we go.
I can anyway. All right.
Yep.
Well, we've done our apologies. We've paid our penance for the week, and hopefully next week one of us will get to that magical number where we don't have to apologize to anybody. But
That would be nice.
Yeah,
we all
that's
know
not happening.
we
for
all
me.
know that's not likely.
No.
So before we get to pick these games for this week, let's hear again from Miracle Auto Group.
Hi everyone, it's Jim Galvin, Miracle Ford. Great news, beginning now. When you need service, we can come to you.
I think this program is great because as a college student who doesn't have time to go anywhere or do anything, this program really helped me just to get my car worked on. I could stay in work and continue to do my job. It's convenient, it's super quick, not expensive at all, so it's a great program. I really recommend it. Just give it a check out.
Are you ready for a miracle?
And
We don't have a Corso experience.
Scott has decided to go somewhere else for a minute.
Scott's gone dark. He's gone dark.
Oh,
Hey, buddy.
There he is. There he
Sorry
is.
about that.
Almost. You almost timed it right. You almost timed it right.
I did my best, but the intrepid videographer in there, I need a little assistance.
Yeah. Do you want to share an update on her? I think we have one.
She's doing much better. She's been going to therapy, physical therapy. She's needed therapy for me for years, but yeah, she's been going to PT and she's doing really well. It's just the bone has healed. Her rib seems to have healed. So we're hoping that there's no surgery for her. So we appreciate all the thoughts, prayers, and well wishes, and everything from everybody. It's been a tough road for her because she's used to doing, and she's had to depend on me, poor girl. And let's face it, I'm a poor second to everything that she does around here.
Yeah, and I've said it before. Kudos to her. This is PG-13. She's got a bigger set than any of us because we would have backed out. We would not have got ran over.
Now
Yep.
she got the shot, but I think that I think that she has retired. But we appreciate everything that she did for us.
Yep. Well, it's a positive update, though. It's always good news,
Yeah.
and glad to hear that.
Yep.
On that note, let's pick some winners from who you got. Yeah, so we talked about those numbers from last week, and overall, they're good. I mean, with the exception of one who has now crashed back to earth after his meteoric rise to superstardom.
Reggie says that he was not wrong. The games just ended early.
Mm.
No, he was wrong.
100%.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
knows.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we will
Hey,
not be
he's-
doing that again.
He still wants me to point to the "told you so" games.
It is
Sure.
impressive.
He has 6, just like he's in 6th place.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'm shooting for my goose egg this week. So we'll see.
What's it say about us that we're beefing with a cat? It's kind of sad. But I legitimately did not like him last week. I looked at my cats and I said, "You're the same species as Reggie," and I don't like it.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Oh, me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, overall, it's yeah, those are good numbers. No complaints there.
Stop the game. Stop the
Stop the count.
stop the count.
When nothing else
here.
after this. All right. Let's look at that recap screen. It's red for the fans and Reggie. That's a lot of red. I took a little more red than I wanted to, but you take a shot and you lose sometimes.
Yeah. That sucks for you.
Ravenwood Franklin, let's start it off. It's the Thursday nighter. I won't go any further on that comment. 80.9% of the fans on the Raptors in this one. Franklin in the news this week for having just made a head coaching change. Alex Melton has been relieved of duties. Donnie Webb, who was already on the staff, and as a former Franklin head coach, is going to take over for the remainder of the season. So, coming into this game, we've talked about Franklin all year long because they've been so close in so many games. They've got another region game against Ravenwood coming in, but now with all this going on, it just feels different, doesn't it, guys?
It does. 21 losses in a row for Franklin. But the superintendent or the principal was quoted as saying, "I felt like this was a move we had to make so we could get a win this year." So he feels confident in what Coach Webb can do. Coach Webb did have a winning record in his 9 seasons at Franklin as head coach and took the Admirals to the quarterfinals. I believe it was 2015 maybe. But man, Ravenwood, they beat a really good Independence team a couple of weeks ago. Carter Pace, I believe, is back from injury. And the Raptors are gearing up for that huge matchup with Brentwood in week 11.
Yeah, this is a coaching matchup between 2 really good coaches in Coach Hester and Coach Webb. Franklin pushed Brentwood to the limit last week. Granted, we'll talk about Brentwood here in a bit. The Bruins are a bit beat up, but I mean, to still do that against a really good Brentwood team says a lot about Franklin. And again, we say it every week. They're the best winless team in the state. I don't think they get the win this week, but I think they keep this game close because emotions are going to be running high. Coach Webb is back. They'll keep it close, but I just think Ravenwood pulls it out in the end.
Yeah, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. To me, looking at it, Franklin has had their problems have been on the defensive side. Their offense has been putting up points, but defensively, they're giving up 32 points per game on average. Ravenwood's just about the opposite. The last 4 games they've given up an average of 8.5 points per game, 34 points. Linebacker Lane Summerell, he just dominates the field. He's quick to read and react. He's sideline to sideline quick. Their offense is now beginning to catch up to that. I just feel like Ravenwood and their defense is just going to I think it's close early, but I think Ravenwood's defense kind of shuts them down the second half. But going back to what you said about Ravenwood getting a win this year, they felt like I felt they were going to get one anyway, whether or not they had the same coach or not. And because the schedule I thought dictated a win somewhere in there. They felt they had to make a move, and they did.
Yeah, Franklin still has Overton to play.
Yes.
And that's kind of why I think that this move was curious. The timing does seem great because it's on a short week, first off, even though you've got fall break next week. It's like the win's coming. It's just a matter of, if it's Overton or not. I don't think it's this week. But I would not be surprised if Franklin puts up one heck of a dogfight against Ravenwood just because that's what they've done pretty much with everybody all year. Their win's coming, but it just may not be this week.
Alex Milton's going to coach again. He's going to be a head coach again somewhere. And wherever he goes, he's going to win. He is that quality of a coach.
Right. Columbia Academy and Nashville Christian, 71.9% of the fans with the Eagles of Nashville Christian. And Scott's the lone dissenter here, taking the Bulldogs.
Yeah. I looked at their offense, and their quarterback, Connor Rawson, is just putting up incredible numbers. But Monte Baldwin, if you don't know his name now, you should. He's 1,000-yard rusher, 8.6 yards per carry average, and 14 rushing touchdowns. He's incredibly hard to stop. And I think that their defense is good enough to stop Nashville Christian, but I think their offense, and especially Monte Baldwin, is the key to this game, and I think they win it because of that.
I remember watching Monte Baldwin a couple of years ago when he was a freshman and thinking, man, this kid, he's going to be a stud. He's doing every bit as what I thought he would. I picked Nashville Christian, though. I think the Eagles are heating up. Jared Curtis has really come along. I know defensively they do have a lot of issues, but I just think Nashville Christian's heating up at the right time after such a slow start to the year. I do think this is a close game. A lot of points will probably be scored, but give me the one of the best quarterbacks in the 2026 class, maybe leading a game-winning drive at the end.
Yeah, I mean I believe Nashville Christian's another one of those teams that started 0-3 and now they're 3-3. So that they're definitely headed in the right direction. And when you got a talent like Jared Curtis, Jared was out with an illness for a few weeks, but he's back now. Wound up leading a game-winning drive against Good Pasture, I believe, last week. So in a game where I think there's going to be a lot of points like you, Joe, I tend to choose the more high-powered offense, and I think that's Nashville Christian.
Yeah, it's Nashville Christian's finding its form at the right time. They don't necessarily have the defense to win a state championship this year now, as like they thought they might have, but the offense is clicking, and that's the way to get this thing going in the right direction for them. It's what they wanted all year long. So, Columbia Academy, Monte Baldwin's going to put up some big numbers, I think, but I think Curtis does just enough to put Nashville Christian over the top. Ainsworth and Father Ryan, we are all on the Tigers, including the fans, at 51.7%. Father Ryan, this isn't necessarily a get-right game. It's a save-your-season type of game, really, because if you lose this one, you can forget a home playoff game, and it's going to be rough.
Yeah, the highs of that Brentwood Academy win are long gone at this point. I don't know what's happened. Offensively, they're still putting up numbers. I know they've played a brutal stretch since that game, but I don't know what's happening. I mean, like you said, it's a save-your-season type of game. Ainsworth, I think they really got back on form last week, beating that out-of-state team. I just think defensively, I would take Ainsworth's defense over what Father Ryan has going right now. Ethan Nutley, Mason Curtis, those boys are playing really, really well. And I think the battle up front's what's going to be determining this game, and I think Ethan Nutley could have himself a night.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I think that Ethan Utley and Mason Curtis are going to be the key. Don't think they're going to make things easy on JoJo Crump. Yeah, the luck of the Irish just turned kind of into the nightmare of the Irish. In weeks 1 through 3, the Irish put up an average of 49 points per game. Last 3, 22. Now, granted, 2 of those games were against 2 of the best defenses in Tennessee, NBA and MUS. But I think that Ainsworth's defense is no slouch either. And because of that, and because they seem to struggle against good defenses of late, that's why I'm going with the Tigers.
Yeah, give me the Tigers. And closer than the experts think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I wanted to pick Father Ryan in this spot just because I feel like that they're going to bounce back at some point. It's just a matter of when. But 3 in a row, it's tough for me to kind of pull back on that one. And
yeah, close, low-scoring game in my opinion.
Yeah, if it's a low-scoring game, this is Ainsworth's favor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If they can get this in the high 20s to 30s, Father Ryan can absolutely win it. But if you keep it defensive, I got to side with the Tigers as well. Gordonsville, Red Bowling Springs. Now, we've never had Red Bowling Springs on this show before in this spot. So it was the first time for them. But last week's Player of the Week, Aubrey Link, has been a big reason why they're actually in this spot because he has absolutely balled out. But Gordonsville's challenge is to slow him down, and if they can slow him down, then maybe they slow down the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's really a battle of two really good quarterbacks in this one.
This isn't your.
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, this isn't your dad's. I'm just saying this isn't your dad's RBS Bulldogs. Coach Link has, he's got that small town in Red Bowling Springs buzzing. Aubrey Link, 6'4", 217-pound quarterback with a defensive end mentality. He's incredibly elusive for his size. He's a lefty. He throws incredibly well on the run. And as you said, Chris, he does it all. Offense, defense, kicks the extra points. I mean, he's a good. He makes the players around him better as well. Houston, the wide receiver and defensive back, he's a primary target. But unfortunately, I think that the Gordonsville's for them anyway. They're going to take care of the Swiss Army machete that is Aubrey Link. They seem to have righted the ship largely on their defense. In 4 of their last 5 games, I think they've allowed like 7 points or less. So it's just hard for me to see the Tigers not going in there and pulling a win. Although I will say I think it'll be closer than a lot of people might think.
Yeah, Brady Gentry being out for Gordonsville definitely weakens their offense a little bit. He's one of the better receivers in our area, especially for him being a 1A kid. I think he could play in several 4A and 5A schools. But Jay Foster, a sophomore for Gordonsville, has done a great job stepping in at quarterback, following up behind Matthew Albritton, a 4-year senior starter at Gordonsville. But yeah, Auburn Link is the real deal. But ultimately, it's just Gordonsville has more athletes than Red Bull, and I think that's why they win.
Yeah, I just want to say congrats to Red Bull in on being in our picks for the first time. Secondly, I want to say I'm sorry we all picked against you. Thirdly, I just went with the team that's been – this is a huge game for both teams, seeding-wise. One of these teams has been in this position several times already. That's Gordonsville. I'll take the team with the experience in that. They got a great coach who's been in huge situations, both here and at his former stop. So give me Gordonsville.
Yeah, I got to piggyback off of that one. I mean, Red Bowling Springs, this is your show me time because last few years, yeah, you've had a guaranteed playoff spot being in a 14 region, but you've not been competitive in region games. Make that next step here, and then we'll talk about it. But got to see it first. I think Gordonsville wins this one, but curious to see how Red Bowling does handle the spotlight. Henry County and Beach. 56.2% of the fans are on the Buccaneers. Scott has also sided with the homestanders, so go after it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm picking for wings. I'm just kidding, Matt.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Not really. No, I looked at Henry County, and they played a tough schedule for the most part. Yeah, they had a big win against Riverdale early, 1-point win, and they played a close game to Brentwood. But if you look at the other teams they played, a 3-3 Brighton team, a young 3-4 Springfield team. In the last 3 games, blowouts against teams that are confined 2-19. Now they get Beach, who's had a week to plan for this game, and Anthony Crabtree. He's got the defense, I think, that can actually stop Henry County last year. I know it could be a little bit of a revenge game for Henry County since Beach went up there last year and knocked them out of the playoffs. But I think that Caden Powell is and that offense is coming together at the right time. I think this Beach team is starting to gel and they're ready to make a run.
Yeah, this was a hard one to pick, to be honest. This is one of the 2 games this week where I went back and forth. Beach has just played such a tough schedule, and the way they rebounded following that Independence loss was such a dominant win over Hendersonville. I mean, that's a statement. But then you look at what Henry County's done. They get that big win against a really, really good Riverdale team. I believe Beach lost to Riverdale by 2. So, I mean, they both played Riverdale close. And then the way Henry County kept it close with Brentwood, who's our number 1 large class team and one of the best 6A teams in the state. They did that on the road at Brentwood's homecoming. I think this is going to be a really, really close game. It might be one of the top 2 games of the night on Friday. I just something about the Patriots. I don't know what it is. Sorry to the Beach faithful. I hope I can still get wings on Friday. But yeah, just give me the Patriots and maybe a 3-point game.
Yeah, I'm right there in that same range. The reason why I picked Henry County, I've been on the Beach bandwagon all year. I believe I've picked Beach in every game that we've had them.
So now you switch sides.
I have just a little bit. The game against Brentwood, I had a chance to watch some of that one. And what Henry County can do up front for a 5A school, I think Beach is going to have a hard time with. I do think this is a game Beach can win, but Beach cannot afford to turn the ball over like they did against Independence. They have to play a clean football game, and I'm not sure if they can do that. I know they're at home, which is definitely a big factor because Shackle Island's a tough place to go win a game.
Sorry about that.
Put an exclamation point on that.
Yeah, Henry County is a team that's battle tested. Close game against Riverdale, they were able to win. Tough loss against Brentwood, which is our number 1 team. So,
I'm sorry, that cat run right across the back of the couch killed me.
Sorry about that.
And if you didn't get it, Joe and I plan on being at that game on Friday. And the rumor is that the reason that I'm going against because I didn't get my pie last night.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Did you get it, Joe?
No,
we were kind of tied up.
Yeah, I had a tough time with this one too. And it just kind of boiled down to me to that revenge factor of Henry County wanting to avenge that loss from last year's playoffs. There's really nothing else to it. This game's too close for me. I won't be shocked one bit if Beach wins. But I can't figure this Beach team out. I haven't been able to all year, and won't be shocked if I lose this one again. I'm going with Henry County.
You know what? My brain's fried. That was a Page Beach game you sent me to last year, not Beach. That was Page and Henry County.
Oh,
yeah, it was
okay.
Page and Henry County.
So you've got some brain fog too, Scott. Okay. Now it's all making some sense here.
I'm sure there are a bunch of people out there going, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Page Henry County that I got sent to last year.
All right. Knox Catholic at Brentwood Academy. 57.3% of the fans with BA on this one. Reggie's taking Knoxville Catholic, probably because it has cat in their name. Otherwise, we're all in Brentwood Academy.
Yeah, I think this is the week BA gets back on track in some way. I know their season's kind of, I wouldn't say lost, but anyway, offensively, I think this is a really good week for George McIntyre to really put up some numbers. This Knox Catholic team lost to NBA. They gave up a lot of points in NBA offense that's really struggled this year. They found a way to put up a ton of points against them. I think these two teams record-wise are maybe flipped from compared to what people expected going into the year. Knox Catholic's had a good year, but at home, give me George McIntyre throwing for maybe 300 yards, and TT Hill. I think he has a big night.
Yeah, I'm saying George 300 plus and probably 3 touchdowns or better. Big night for George. I do think this offense has been able to put up numbers. Though the question for Brentwood Academy is, can their defense, show up this week? And I think it may not matter this week, but Brentwood Academy is still a dangerous team with the weapons they have on offense. They just have to try to right the ship, as you said, Joe.
I think this game is a track meet. I think that unless TT Hill can and Brentwood Academy can dominate the line of scrimmage and keep the ball, it's going to be a battle between Jaden Neal and McIntyre. I think that both teams defensively can be beaten. It's just I think Brentwood needs to just take advantage. If they can cut down on their penalties and take advantage of turnovers, they've caused 8 fumbles this year, only got 3 of them. They've got that luck's got to change at some point. That ball's going to bounce in their direction. I think this is a game that happens. I think the Eagles win this one.
Knox Catholic, scoring a lot of points, not surprising. BA scoring a lot of points, not surprising. But when you let MBA score as many points as they did, major red flag. That's why I'm going with Brentwood Academy. Page at Hillsboro, a game that you guys, Scott, Joe, you all will see tomorrow night, actually.
Yep.
Reggie's going with Hillsboro. The rest of us are on the Patriots, as well as the fans at 69.7%. So.
I'm not intimidated by Reggie's pick. Hillsboro kept it close with Nolensville last week. That Nolensville team really pulled one out in the end, and I saw them the week before against Centennial. I just think Page is a different beast compared to where they were week 1 and week 2. The Patriots have really figured things out in a big way. I think, God, man, that week, whenever they play Centennial, that game's going to be massive. Give me Page in a couple touchdown game. I think Hillsboro keeps it close, but Page in the end, they pull one out.
Yeah, Page has been on a tear since that overtime game against Independence, really. And I think that has been a great teaching moment for Coach Rathbone, and the offensive line's gotten healthy. I think this Patriot team is kind of flying under the radar a little bit. They you see Nolensville having a year that's kind of unexpected after losing a lot of talent, and then Page coming off back-to-back trips to Chattanooga, and there's no question in my mind that they are talented enough to make a third trip this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, boy, what a difference the season makes for the Burros. Last year they were suffering with a boatload of injuries this time of the year. They had trouble just because a lot of their talent was on the sidelines. Their quarterback's doing incredibly well. Jeremiah Trotter, Khaki Baker is a threat on both sides of the ball. But when you look at Page, normally you would think of them as, solid line play trenches, but it's their linebackers, I think, that win this game for them. Caden Walker, Brendan Ains, and Eric Hazard. Walker leads the team in tackles with a 54. Hazard's a terror off the edge. He's got 7 sacks and 9 tackles for loss. This team will turn you over. I honestly believe Page is on a roll, and it's because of their defense that they win this game.
Yeah, and I'll speak up real quick on Hazard. Those numbers are good, but if they would not run the ball away from him every time, they would be a lot better, because that's what happens.
Yep.
He is that talented.
Yeah, the Patriots have certainly turned the page since that overtime loss at Independence, and they are who we thought they were, and they are right there in the mix for that region title.
That really hurt my soul to hear you say that, to be honest with you.
Well, you kind of deserved it.
I appreciate
it. You kind of deserved it for earlier.
I did. You're right.
Yeah. Hillsboro's taken some big steps forward this year, and that's really good for them. They're pretty much playoff bound now as it is. Can they take that next step and be part of the conversation? Thursday night's a key night for them to do just that. But I like Page in that spot. They're just playing really good ball right now.
I will say this about Hillsboro before we go. There was a lot of talk going into the season about if this coaching staff is the right fit, because they've struggled so much the last couple of years. Yeah, they're the right fit. It takes some time to build something special. They've got it going now. I think they keep this momentum going, not only for this year, but going forward. The resources are there. I'm really looking forward to getting out to Hillsboro for the first time for a game. Even if I didn't pick them to win here, I just think this program's in a really, really good spot now.
Yeah, this region is too. I think this region may wind up sweeping the other region come playoff time.
Very
Yeah.
easily could. Very easily could.
Sorry
Providence
for my-
Christian and Ezel Harding are in this list. And, Ezel Harding gets all the picks here, including the fans at just a shade over 50%. But, these two teams fighting it out for playoff seeding in their region as well.
Yeah, similar to Red Bull. And here we go, guys. Congratulations to Providence Christian. And I believe Ezel made it on the show earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Glencliff.
So kudos to Providence Christian, first year 11-man football, and they are on our top 10 games. It's a big step for them. And they've won a couple games this year, if I'm not mistaken, and been in a couple others. So good first year for Providence Christian. Really like what Coach Stewart has been able to do at Ezel Harding. They've won a lot of low-scoring games, and I think that's exactly what this one will be, is a low-scoring game. And I just think Ezel will find a way to win.
Yeah, the Lions have, they could be 500 after this game. This game would get them to 500, which is a big step for a first-year 11-man program. They have a really productive passing game under Tatum Marks. He does his best when extending the pocket. Ethan Rollins is primary. They got a really big back, Aiden Bolin. He's a monster. But they struggle getting that run game going at times. They only had 11 yards against the Kings Academy. That's exactly what the type of team that the Eagles match up with, because their defensive backs are that good. They love to match up against the throwing team. I think that Kyan Robinson, he's got 3 picks on the year. He'll get more. Offensively, I think they'll stay on the ground. Noah Wilson will be he's a wrecking ball with breakaway speed. I like Ezel Harding here. I think that they take the next step.
Yeah, I echo all that. I kind of compared the schedules for these two teams and what they've done. They've had some common opponents, and they've both had similar results to each of those. I think this is going to be one of the closer games on Friday or Thursday night, I believe. Friday night. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long day. I just think Ezel, I agree with you, Scott. I think their defense, this is the kind of game they're really loaded up for. So give me the Eagles by maybe a touchdown.
Yeah, winner basically third place in this region. Ezel Harding will guarantee a top 3 spot with a win here. Providence Christian can play for it if they do get that win. They still have to play the Kings Academy later on in the year, but it's close. I'd like to see whichever team comes out of this one. It'd be great for them for a great step forward for playoff seeding, but I'm going to go with the homestand Eagles in this one. Trousdale County at East Robertson, also Thursday night, and looky here.
Homer.
Just call him Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Last year I had this gut feeling, but I chose to go against it, and that was week 11 against Watertown. And I just have a gut feeling on this one. East Robertson's not been playing very good football, making a lot of mistakes, but so is Trousdale County. And as I told Chris before the show, when you have two teams that don't play very good, clean football, that favors the less talented team. And that's factual. And this is a matchup where Trousdale County's coming off a bye week. And then when you look at matchups, we talk about the big 4 for East Robertson, right? Isaiah Groves at running back, Cole Gregory for Trousdale County is one of the better linebackers in our area. 4-year starter at linebacker, probably going to be an all-stater. And then you got Elijah Groves at wide receiver. You got Coben Calhoun, which is one of the better athletes in that region as well. So you have a matchup there. And then Zach Groves, the defensive end, that's getting some offers. He gets to go up against a 2-time state champion wrestler in Rob Atwood now. So, it's a matchup thing on top of not being able to play clean football. Trousdale County will need some breaks to win this game. There's no question about that. But if East Robertson plays the way they've been playing, this spells upset to me, and that's why I went with my Yellow Jackets.
I get that, and I've had gut feelings before, but I take stuff for that. if this game were at Trousdale County, I might be able to give that way. But this is at East Robertson, and I think that this team has been pressing just a little bit. They played two really good defensive teams. They lost to Smith County, and Westmoreland's a good defensive team. I mean, make no mistakes about it. I don't know that Trousdale is quite as good defensively. And yes, Trousdale may be able to isolate, the Groves family, but I think if that's the case, then the Brooks kid, coach's son, he's quietly having a good year as a complimentary receiver and running back. I think that he's got the juice to get some things done. But I don't think that it comes down to that. I really like East Robertson to kind of shake the cobwebs off and play a lot better as they start going down the stretch.
I really liked everything Cam said. It didn't sway me one bit, but I really liked everything he said. I think East Robertson has looked awful the last couple weeks offensively. A lot of penalties. You know what? I think they're due. I think they're due to get back on track, and why not? Why not this game? You got to win. You got to win some ugly games to win these big games. I think East Robertson gets back on track this week. I think the Groves family, they have a huge showing out, and East Robertson big. And if Trousdale County wins this one, I'll say right now, I'll apologize to the Yellow Jackets next week.
You will apologize to me.
I will apologize to Cam.
I don't apologize to people.
I don't see this
to
one.
Teams.
I don't see this one getting out of hand either way. Last year's game, I think East Robertson was better last year than they are this year, and the game on the Creek Bank was 24-6. So,
I agree with a lot of what Cam said too, and it actually gave me some pause because I mean there's a point where Trousdale County could spring an upset here, but these are napkins. They help clean up messes. East Robertson's had some messes the last couple of weeks. Take a few of these, clean the stuff up, and go win the game like you're supposed to. That's my key to the game for East Robertson.
I like that, Chris.
That's 100% the key to the game for East Robertson. We've been saying that since week 3, and they ain't done it yet. So,
but here's the thing: talented teams find a way to clean it up at some point, and the minute they do, that's it. So, I think this is the week that it finally happens, and it's going to have to, or else they will lose the game. But
agreed.
I'm on the Indians for this one, but I am interested to see what Trousdale County is able to do in this one because they are definitely improving it week by week.
Yep.
Our spotlight game and the best one by far, Brentwood at Centennial, and as you can figure out, we're split.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one on up. I changed this pick as I sent it to Chris at 5:30 this afternoon. So this is a matchup. We talked about a revenge factor in Beach in Henry County. This is a revenge factor right here. I know they're no longer in the same region, but they were in the same region last year. And Brentwood beat Centennial in Week 11 and cost Centennial the region championship. They beat them 15-9 and sent Centennial from winning the region championship to on the road in round 1 of the playoffs against Bartlett. So I like the Cougars, and I like what Coach Stewart's been able to do there. Dominic Reed will have to be a huge factor if the Cougars win this game. But them being at home on top of revenge, on top of Brentwood, maybe sputtering a little bit, maybe being banged up a little bit, I just had to go with Centennial.
Let me tell you how my pick went for this one. I spent all Sunday agonizing about this pick. I flipped a coin 7 times. Well, I originally flipped it 5 times, and I was split. It was 2-2, and Centennial got the nod that time. And I said, you know what? 5 ain't enough. I'll go to 7. And it was 3-3, and Centennial got the nod that time. And look, I know my pick's not going to be popular among Brentwood fans, and I said I probably wouldn't pick against you the rest of the year. But this is hard. I've seen both teams. I think they match up really well with each other. I think this is potential to be a game of the year type of deal here. I'm very jealous of Chris for him being able to see this. A great coaching matchup. It's at Centennial. The atmosphere is going to be electric. they played some similar teams, and Centennial blew both those teams out while Brentwood had some struggles. Sorry. Brentwood maybe a little banged up. I know Centennial also a little banged up maybe at spots, but I think Dominic Reed has a big game here, guys. I think Centennial wins maybe the same fashion they did against Nolensville. Sorry, Brentwood fans. Don't hate me.
Things Top Gun never showed you. Okay. Had Iceman and Maverick gone after each other, Iceman would have shot him down. And that's what we have here. We have Brentwood, solid, the Iceman. They don't make mistakes. They come at you. They are good in every phase of the game. You have Centennial, Maverick, just full of energy, excitement, everything. But the thing about it is that I think in this particular case, I've got to go with Ice. They're going to wear you down. They're not going to make mistakes. They are going to do everything they can to make you beat yourself. This is a team that only has 2 fumbles on the year. So when I look at that, I've got to go with the solid team that has been consistent. And even though Centennial has as well, what I've seen of Brentwood in front of me just tells me that they have the edge. But to be honest, Cam, I didn't make this. This pick didn't come easy, and I waffled on it as well. But when it came down to it, it came to what I saw in front of me when I saw them live.
Yeah, this pick did not come easily to me at all. I went back and forth myself. And Centennial has a game-winning kick this year too, so I can't really necessarily tout special teams, or can I? But if it comes down to a battle of kickers, still got to side with Brentwood's Isaac Hayes here. He's got the leg to hit from 60 plus. I've seen it. We've all seen it, but it's going to be one of those knockdown, drag-out type games where if you can keep it in the teens and maybe get a late shot at a field goal, if Isaac Hayes is kicking a 50-yarder to win it, I like his chances. And I'm going to side with Brentwood just because I think they may need to kick 2 or 3 field goals in this one to get it done. And I said it earlier, Isaac Hayes is my key player here because I think he's going to have to kick 2 or 3, but it'll be enough to get it done.
Field goals may all be scored because these defenses, 2 of the best in the entire state.
Yeah, 15-9 last year, and I think both teams are better defensively and offensively than last year. So it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, Maximus and Will Adcock, I think, are they were the kind of what pushed it over the edge for me. Those 2 defensive players for Brentwood.
Yeah. All right, Reggie, who you got?
Your Royal Highness, Reggie has selected the Centennial Cougars.
Stayed with the cat family.
Stayed with the cat. When he picks cats, they win.
Unless it's Pearl-Cohn and CPA.
Look, we don't talk about that. No, he picked the Firebirds.
I know, but all of us picked CPA.
The Lions, there
you have it. Reggie makes it a true split with picks with Centennial. 69.7% of the fans went with Brentwood. Whether that's nice for them or not, we'll find out later on. All right. Let's go to the recap screen real quick, and then we will. It's definitely Centennial. So we can fill those question marks in with Centennial for Reggie. I've got Brentwood. Scott's got Brentwood. Cam's got Centennial. Joe's got Centennial, and the fans have Brentwood. Back up top, it's Ravenwood across the board over Franklin. Scott's got Columbia Academy over Nashville Christian. The fans are taking Gansworth, as well as the rest of us, over Father Ryan. We're all on Gordonsville over Red Bull Springs. Scott's got Beach, as well as the fans. The rest of us have Henry County. And we're all on Brentwood Academy over Knoxville Catholic, except for Reggie. Same for Page over Hillsboro. Reggie's taking Hillsboro. The rest of us are Page. We're all on Ezel Harding over Providence Christian. Cam's got Charleston County over East Robertson, and the rest of us have the Indians this week. So that is it for who you got. Fellas, that's all the damage we could do for a week, but this hour goes quick. So one more word from y'all before we get out of here.
We're getting closer to playoff football, which is really, really crazy to think about. Weather this weekend is finally supposed to feel like fall weather. If you're out at a game and you see us, come say hi. I promise we won't bite. I can't speak for Scott, but if you see us, say hi. We really appreciate all the help we've gotten from you guys with following all our socials and all that. And let's get through these next 2 slow weeks to get to week 10 and 11 where things really heat up.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. There are still some good games this week. Some games with huge playoff implications in a couple of regions. Go out to a game. It's supposed to be a little cooler this weekend, starting Friday night. So go out to a game, enjoy maybe you might be able to find a cup of hot chocolate at a game already. So that's one thing that I always enjoyed was a nice cup of hot chocolate. Kind of jealous a little bit this week of Scott and Joe getting to go to the beach, one of the best concession stands in the state with the fried honey buns. Man, that would be killer to have Friday night. But huge game there, huge game at Brentwood and Centennial. No longer a region matchup, but still, I think everyone here would agree our number 1 6A team versus our number 1 5A team here in week 8 of the season. So it's going to be a great week of action, and look forward to breaking it down on Saturday. And if everything goes my way, maybe have a surprise or two.
When Chris and I first started this venture, we had certain ideas and certain things that we wanted to get accomplished, and we've done most of those. We both share a love of high school athletics. We both share a love of promoting the kids and meeting the kids and the coaches. One of the benefits that side benefits out of this is meeting you. The people that follow us, the people that support us. That has been, I'm constantly amazed when somebody comes up and says hello, appreciates what we do, or just thanks us for coming out. As Joe said, come up and say hi. I will not bite, not even if asked. But the bottom line is we meet so many good people in this business, and it's great to hear your points of views, what you guys think. If you've got some segments you'd like to see, if you have some suggestions, hit them up. We're always looking to do more and more. We want to be the best that we can be, and you guys help us with that. So thank you very much for supporting us, for interacting with us, and we'll see you on the field.
Got 2 words for you. Football weather. Starting to get that way now. There's nothing like throwing on a jacket, heading out to a game Friday night and enjoying the cooler weather, because let's face it ain't fun going to a game in 95-degree heat wearing shorts and sweating your off. When it gets down to the 50s, maybe upper 40s, you feel that little crisp in the air. It's just right. It's where it's supposed to be. It's football weather. Get out and enjoy it. Maybe a little rain tomorrow night, but hopefully not much. But definitely get out there these next couple of weeks as the season starts to hit the home stretch, and check out some fun games. 9 o'clock Saturday morning, as usual, we'll have the scoreboard show here on YouTube, Facebook, the X platform, and on Twitch. And then we will have all those interviews and highlights for you as well. So that is it for us for the Midstate 48, powered by Miracle Auto Group. For Joe, for Cam, for Scott, for Chris, I'm out. We will see you guys on Saturday.
Bye.
Hey, I'm not in